Okay.
What's going on?
Well, good evening and welcome to this Monday, November 23rd edition of Referee's Corner here on islandstats.com. Joining me are Yari Ming as well as Siobhan and Kevin. First of all, gentlemen, thank you very much for taking the opportunity to come on board. We're also being joined by Seth Hardman. Thank you very much for coming on. But we want to get right into talking about officiating and the challenges as far as what you guys saw on the sideline that you felt could assist the association when they were able to call upon you. But Yari, it was something you were doing before you went to school. Now you're back from school. The transition of coming back and getting back into it, how have you adjusted?
That's been an interesting one. Fitness has been probably the hardest part, but I think I'm pretty much almost getting back to a decent match fitness level. Couple more games, couple more trainings, I think I'll be there. But no, I've enjoyed it. It's like riding a bike, right? You know, you step outside of it, but just come right back to it.
Yeah. I want to ask Kevin if you can hear me. What have you seen in your short time of officiating that has helped you throughout your time playing football?
Well, something that's helped me during like, you mean as reffing?
Yes.
Well, at first when the coaches were like talking to me and like getting angry at me, I didn't get up as upset because I used to be me down on the field yelling at the referee. So that's just something that's helped.
At such a young age, you were shouting at the referee?
Like not shouting, but like I know what it's like to get mad at the ref. So when
Right.
people get mad at me, I know it is. Know why.
Right. Now, Siobhan, you're a bit older, but have you been able to adjust your way of thinking about an official now that you've actually taken up the opportunity to be an official?
Yes, for sure.
Yeah. What has changed over the time that you've started officiating in your mental capacity that kind of takes you and says, look, I can't be that aggressor to a referee because now I know what it's like to have to make a decision.
Yeah. We as refs, like we make a lot of mistakes. So and sometimes personally for me, I hesitate to make a call or decision. So like I understand for men I'm playing, I don't I get mad at the refs as much as I used to.
Right. All right. Well, good evening, Seth. Hope all is well with you. What got you involved in the officiating side of things?
I had left football a few years before I decided to become a referee, and I like the whole idea of being a referee and understanding the whole idea, like the point of view. Because as a footballer, I always want to shout at the referees as well. Like I was always on the case, and I felt like seeing the referee's point of view was very, very interesting. So I took it up.
Yeah. How many games have you officiated thus far?
This year I've done 3.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yari, when you first started, you were running the line in first division matches as well as doing youth refereeing and so forth. Now you see all these youngsters involved because when you started, you were the young buck. Now you see all these youngsters involved. It must be a good thing, a good feeling that seeing so many young people taking up the task of helping to make sure that number one, youth games get underway and are officiated with somebody that understands the rules and regulations, as well as seeing some of them officiate on a Sunday in a first division match.
Yeah, no, 100%. It's nice to see these guys out. It's nice to see more women out as well, young ladies out. It's been a breath of fresh air. I like what I see now. It's more diverse. You have younger guys getting into the game earlier. And from a personal thing, just knowing the rules of the game and having a better understanding of why the game is how it is and how things flow within the game, I think that's probably my biggest takeaway from refereeing. Uh, so yeah, seeing all these guys excel and continue to grow in their refereeing lives, it's beautiful to see. I think I was 12 when I started. I think, yeah, 12. So and to see guys 13 and 14 and some of them 12, it's fun to watch them. I was refereeing, I think, under 11s at one point, and I was 12, or under 9s, and I was 12. So that was an interesting experience. But no, I loved it. So again, to see these guys out, it's like watching, I guess, a younger version of me do it. So I'm more than happy, and I encourage all of them. Like, just keep going, keep going, keep growing. Refereeing could take you places. Take advantage of the opportunity that you have. It's a beautiful opportunity if you choose to excel at it.
Yeah, Siobhan, when you go to officiate, and obviously some of the kids are a lot younger, or some of them are near your age. How do you approach a game like that as an official?
As an official, like, what do you mean approach
How
the
do you
game?
look at the game to make sure that you're in position to officiate, make the call that you have to call, just being up with the play and so forth.
Yeah, with the younger kids, I just have to keep my eye on the ball at all times, and just keep moving with the play. So like, when I first started, I was kind of walking around, like not being right there. But now we're encouraged to keep like very near the ball, always watching it, and try not to get distracted.
Come on, when you're officiating the youth games, obviously the kids just follow the ball kind of thing. How do you work out whether it's a foul or they're just tripping over the ball, or even the teammate? Because when you watch the young kids, everybody seems like they just crowd around the ball. Do you find you have to get close to the situation in order to make a call?
Yeah, like what he said, like stay close, but it depends on the reaction. Like if you just see a herd of kids and then you just watch they leave and the child's down on the floor, you have to just make sure you're there so you know what happened. If they just get back up, they're probably fine. Or like if they're like actually hurt, then you might have to like stop the play, call the coach or something because they're young and they get hurt easier.
Mm. Do you see a bit of yourself when you were their age playing and doing the same thing?
Yeah, a little bit.
All right, Seth, you play quite a bit, and you've been playing for a while for such a young man. But looking at how much have you learned about the game just by becoming an official?
I've learned a lot. From learning like specific rules and things like that, I feel like you can really alter the way that you play and become a very like much more smarter player. I feel like refereeing does that for players. So in terms of offside or getting advantage and things like that, it's really like informative, and it's interesting.
When you're watching hypothetically a Premier Division game, and then you're watching a youth game, say under 11 game, how do you look at the two and compare them? Because football is football, but it's just a different speed, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. How are you managing with the coaches as well? Because that you have to build that understanding and relationship. Because you guys are young, so some adults try to take advantage of you to see if they can get away with something. How do you manage it?
Well, I noticed through the years of watching my brother referee, because he's done it before, it's a lot of times that the younger teams coaches are kind of worse. Like they're not like amazing, but like they seem to be a little more invested. I don't, for some reason, like the older coaches, the Premier League coaches, seem more composed and professional. Like So you just have to see how they are. Like if you go around the island, Long Island's a small island, so you can know who coaches are acting like this, acting like that, and you just manage accordingly, I feel.
Mm. Now, for you, Yari, when you first came on the scene, you were quite a tall guy, so a little more intimidating to some of the people. But learning the rules of the game and understanding what you wanted to do with the game, and then, like I said, going away to school and coming back. Are your goals still the same for when you started? From when you started?
Yeah, like I said, my big thing was always to just get a better understanding on the game. Um, and then obviously, I think I was like probably 13 or 14 probably when I did my first FIFA course. And then that changed my perspective on where I want to be, how I need to get there, why I want to be there. Um, so, yeah, that's probably the best way to answer it. But I think once I get myself up to fitness and put in a little bit more time, like in more courses and whatnot, then I think my perspective will go back to one of maybe looking to push this opportunity to the furthest possible. So
Okay. Now, Siobhan, what got you involved in officiating?
Um, for me, it's something to do, so I'm not stuck home, and we do get paid, so it's good to have a little change on me when I want, anytime I want to go into the store, get some candy or something.
Okay. All right. What about you, Kevin? Were you just following the lead, or you had other goals?
Yeah, it just started when I was at the girls tournament helping out setting up girls, and then they needed me to ref a game, and I ref that game, and I kept continuing refing. They asked me if I wanted to sign up.
Mm. Did you feel comfortable just refereeing the game? Because it comes out of the blue, so we're no pressure. It was just, can you ref the game, right?
Yeah,
Were you comfortable enough to know how you felt the rules should go? And
yeah, like I know the game, so yeah, I pretty much. But yeah, it was pretty easy.
okay, what position do you play?
Like right back.
Oh, okay. All right. All right. Well, Saf, when you're officiating, are you kind of looking at your position on the field as to see what that player should be doing, and how you as a referee are looking at it, and they're probably looking at a referee when you're actually playing?
Yes, that is. I think that's a part I'm working on right now. Positioning, I feel like is probably one of the harder parts of refereeing because you want to make sure you're not getting hit by the ball, staying out of the player's way, and not just you're in the game, making sure you're paying attention to the game, but the same way you're not in the way. So I feel like watching Premier League refs or watching Premier League Bermuda refs, it's good to see how they move around the pitch and communication with assistant referees, things like that. Yeah.
Yeah. You notice, and anyone could answer this. You notice the game here sometimes the ball would go from one end to the other really, really fast because people just end up kicking the ball out, kind of thing. But changing direction as a person officiating, how difficult do you guys find it? Because you're not just changing direction; you still got to watch the play, you got to watch the ball. You got so many different things going on. How challenging is it for some of you?
I mean, for me, I could say that position is key, right? So if you know where you have to be or know where you should be, it helps. I know 18-year-old Yari definitely transitioned and got off the field quicker than 25-year-old Yari. So I understand uh, the challenges that comes with it. But I think again, positioning goes a really long way in refereeing.
Right.
It allows you to see the game better and kind of anticipate things more as well, and ultimately just let the game flow a lot smoother.
Right. We're joined by Lana King. Alana, thanks for joining in. How are things going for you?
Hi, good evening. Things are going pretty okay. Here we have training. We have not started any games as yet. Just the national teams are practicing. So those are the games which I'm doing. We practice matches between the juniors and the senior national teams.
Okay. Now, your time in Bermuda, officiating and going through the courses and all, how much do you fall back on that whilst you're doing what you're doing at home?
Well, the training that we have in Bermuda is very important. Was played a very important role since I've returned. Some of the sessions I still go through on the days we don't have training. Obviously, in looking to become an international ref, you still have to put in the training, even though there are times where you may not have training. So some of the same exercises where the international coaches, the FIFA assistants, and using the some of the same skills and the training sessions that they would use. Sometimes they look back at the videos which we would have and still try to go through some of those pieces.
Yeah. Um, Siobhan, let me ask you this question. Where do you see the officiating start? Because everybody wants to be a player. No, first and foremost, you want to be a player. But where do you see how officiating can help you out to become a better player?
Well, it makes you like more aware of the decisions that could be happening in a game. So and it makes your like football intelligence better because you know what to do and what not to do.
Yeah. And what about you, Kevin? How do you think it's going to help you?
Well, it helped me. It's gonna help me learn the game better. Like I wasn't too sure with the offside, but now I know a little better. If I'm watching a football match or something, the ref goes offside, I'll understand it better.
And Yari, you've seen a whole host of that change over your period of time in officiating. How difficult is that offside rule now?
Oof. It's one that I have to like keep reading. Even like the other day, I had to ask. I said, guys, can I get the most recent book available? Because it's one where it's always met with controversy, and it's always one that's like it seems to be changing. So it's one where I just hope to get it right every time. Apply what knowledge I do have from the book, from the training sessions, from just people telling me what to do. But it's just the rule that I think that's gonna be football's like rule that's always gonna have controversy around it. But
Right.
I think as long as you know, as long as you have an idea of the laws, I think you're good. I think a lot of us. I think we have to trust ourselves as well, right? Because you go through trainings, you read your books, you know, you watch football games as well. So I think the big thing, especially with that, trust yourself. And I heard one of the young guys talk about how they hesitate, but sometimes if you hesitate and get the right call, nobody can fault you for it, right? So, yeah, that's my thoughts on the outsider.
Seth, let me ask you about the handball, the new handball rule. Is that something you've actually worked with the instructors on to make sure that you are comfortable when that decision has to be made?
Well, there is a whole concept that is still constantly changing, and I have to brush up on that for sure. But I'm pretty sure there has been courses going on in Bermuda to make sure that all the referees are caught up, and we have the available resources for it. So I'm really happy for that, and I'll make sure I will get on that as soon as possible.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a very difficult rule, very controversial rule, like you already said about the offsides. So it's, yeah, we're working on it.
Yeah. Alana, I know you've done a lot of training on that aspect as far as that handball rule, but looking at it up close and personal, how do you see the benefits of it and of course the non-benefits of it?
One's always changing. Players will try to be smart. So we have to be outsmarting them. So for the benefit of fairness, the new handball has brought some of that into play because players will keep their hand on and still try to make that little move. So you have to be also vigilant as a referee to make sure that persons are not trying to get up. They don't get away within the game and gain an advantage or to score a goal with the handball. So with that being said, that is why it's important for, even though you don't have the training, you still go through the quizzes on your own if there's no training to make sure you're still up to speed, because these things come with practice.
Yeah. Well, I know looking at how a lot of people interpret the law, because remember, everybody on the sidelines are professional, and everybody on the sidelines a referee and the best coach and all that. But are you, Alana, are you sometimes not intimidated, but second guessing yourself if you feel as if you got the right call, but then people on the side, maybe just a little closer to a situation, you feel as if you second guess yourself sometimes?
Like I said, everything comes with practice, and practice builds confidence. So as years go on, you'll be hearing persons shouting at you. Many of the times, those coaches and those sideline refs, if you tell them, well, since you know it all, next time you can do the game, they never have that urge or that confidence to get up and go and do the game. Be confident in you. We are all still human. So from time to time, you will make a mistake, but that should not be a deterrent for you. Usually within the game, you have persons shouting. I usually just block them out mentally and focus on my ref and the other assistant. If comp systems are being used, then we focus on what we hear, what we see. Communication is important to make sure the full team gets the right decision. So for me, the sideline talk sometimes really doesn't faze me per se. I try my best to make the correct decisions, and like I said, everything comes with practice. Recognizing calls comes with practice. Training is important. Doing the online quizzes from time to time is important. Watching the videos and doing the video tests is important, because you see a lot of different tactics which players tend to try within the game.
Right. Now I wanna ask the brothers a quick question. When you guys finish a game, but you haven't seen the other officiating game, do you sometimes converse about maybe a call you made that you weren't 100, or you're thinking back on and saying, maybe I did get it right, maybe I did get it wrong? Do you guys have that conversation?
Yeah, like a lot. Sometimes after the games, I come to him and say, hey, like, I think this decision I made was wrong. And we'll probably just discuss it and probably just go over the rules again in the book.
Yeah, like after the game or maybe even halftime, if I call a penalty, maybe it shouldn't have been a penalty. He just tripped or had his footing wrong. Because I know we have to call a lot of penalties to the young guys. It's kind of hard to tell if it's really a penalty or not. Or we always talk about how far it is from the penalty spot to the outside the box. We always get that mixed up.
Okay. And of course, Seth, how do you, because you don't get to see other youth referees until it's time to have another session together. So how do you like evaluate your game, and who do you use to evaluate it?
Yeah, a big person is my daddy. He is a huge criticizer of my whole game. Even if he might be right sometimes it's wrong, mostly wrong. So yeah, he would talk to me like, oh, that wasn't a foul, or that wasn't a whatever. Sometimes I brush him off. Sometimes when I am a little iffy about my decision, I'll talk to him about it, tell him my reasoning. He'll tell me his reasoning. And also my brother, who I said was a former referee before, he always has former knowledge, and I feel like that's really useful for me.
What about you, Yari?
I mean, much like Seth, my my dad probably is probably the first person I go to on anything. Like even when I don't want to hear it, I do still go to.
Right.
Because I mean, he started with me. Like I loved doing games with him. It was always fun. At times we would like butt heads on a decision, but I mean, obviously we just hash it out. We talk about it. I mean, one or two times we even trying to like. I think we probably recreated the same scenario in our house. Like, I do appreciate watching like professional referees, like the premier ones as well. They pay to get it right, so it's obviously a good example because they've taken more courses and things like that. So
Right.
yeah.
Right. Alana, who's somebody that you kind of confide in when you're after doing a match and you just want to kind of run things by someone?
I have two persons who I try to.
Can you bring your
So,
camera down just
my
a bit?
mentor from Barbados.
Bring your camera down just a bit.
Yes, there are a few persons who I am able to, call and ask a question or two when I have a game, just as a check, more or less. I have the instructors. I would ask any of the instructors from Bermuda. I have some instructors here as well, as the advantage of having both, being in both places. You ask questions from here or from the instructors in Bermuda. They also have Mr. Thorborn. You can ask him a question. Miss Marhendale from Barbados, who I can run a question by. So, a few of the FIFA assistant referees here in Barbados, I can ask them anything if I am unsure.
Sure. For the two youngsters, how do you manage your time? Because obviously you have training for football, you're playing football, you would have some form of training for refereeing, and you're also officiating. So how are you managing that as well as school and a social life?
For me, it's a lot, but I get through it. And for my schedules, like usually I would have games in the morning, and then after my games, I would have my football games. So yeah, I get through it.
What about you, Kevin?
Me, again, yeah, my football games in the morning. I don't have too much homework, so I don't have to worry about that. It's not that hard for me.
Okay. All right. Seth, what about you trying to manage a bit of school, a bit of refereeing and a bit of playing as well?
Yeah, it could be stressful sometimes because you never know. For me, it's week to week. You always figuring out what I'm doing this weekend, or if I want to have fun, because I'm still a child. So yeah, it could be difficult sometimes, but like I get through it. Like I make it. I manage.
Outside of football, what other sports are you into?
Well, I play basketball. I am a track runner. I don't run as much. I am currently injured with a bad torn ACL, but yeah, I'm still working out, making sure I'm always staying fit, going on runs. So yeah.
When do you think it's going to be your time to make a decision which sport you want? Because you're quite talented in all three.
Yeah. No, pretty much. I'm getting ready to go to school.
Right.
So yeah, I have to make that decision now. So I have to pick through running, track, football, and it's difficult. I'm not gonna lie, because I have love for all three sports.
Mm-hmm.
So when the time comes and I get the decision in my head, I make it.
Okay. All right. And you already know that you're working full time and you still got this passion for helping the referees to make sure that they have a complement over the weekends, to fulfill the matches. How are you managing your time now? Because before it was school and football, now it's work and football.
Maybe in some ways it's similar, right? I mean, because work and school did take priority over refereeing at times. But I am like I'm fresh back out, so it's new, right? So training's 2 or 3 times a week. It's new to me, but I'm trying to find a groove, trying to make sure that I'm recovering as well. So a lot of it's just from trying to find the right balance and going from there, communicating what needs to be communicated. Like if I'm not up for it, or if I need extra time to recover, or maybe an extra session or something. But yeah, it's just about finding that balance, just like in school. So even though I'm not in school, the concepts are the same.
Alana, I want you to give these youngsters some advice on managing time, as you've been in this for a little longer than they have, as far as managing that time of work and or school, because obviously that's your field, and also being prepared for a weekend slew of matches.
Okay, so guys, yes, refereeing may not be your first priority. What I will say, fitness is important in anything that you do. Fitness also helps with your studying, your concentration. The fitter you are, the better you're able to concentrate. There will be times where you cannot make training. Communication and fitness also goes in hand. The instructors will not be too hard on you if you cannot attend a session. However, show your dedication by asking, well, what did we do today? Is there anything I can do on my own to make sure that I'm still getting in the training that we would have done today? For the gentleman staff who you play 3 sports, that was once me back in the day. But managing is important. Eating properly is important as well, because that provides the energy which you need. And hydrating. Hydration is important, especially if you have weekend games, you have back-to-back games. You need to hydrate, not on the night before. Don't go trying to gulp down all the water. Make sure you're drinking lots of water throughout the sessions. Well, there is probably cold at this time. It's getting colder. So chances are you tell yourself, okay, I'm not that thirsty. And that's where it fools you, because you still need to hydrate even though you're not going to be sweating as much, because your body needs that, especially when it comes to game time on weekends. And like I said, if you're doing the back-to-back game for the boys who are playing and then refereeing, you still need to be hydrating, because as a player, you probably can sweat just as much as a referee. Some people think, oh, man, just a referee, so you ain't gonna work that hard, you ain't gonna sweat that much. But as a good referee, you're supposed to be getting in all the right places and spaces. So from time to time, you're gonna have lots of explosive work in terms of sprinting from one end to the other, getting from point to point to see. You're not always going to get there on time, but you also have to pick up the correct angle. So you have each other there that you can actually work with. You can actually get a ball and do something on the outside when you cannot make training. But try to always put in a session. And you also have to be looking to better you. Even if there's no training, you can ask for a session, or you can ask for a heads up as to what you can do on your own. If you can hit the gym, do some lightweight, that is also important, because you still have to be strong. So in case somebody tries to run you over, because some players are doing some weird things sometimes, but getting in and out of the places in terms of to prevent injuries. Seth, you said you had a ACL injury, which means you now have to also strengthen back the leg. So you can't always just go running. You need to do some light strength work until you get back there. And I had an injury as well. So I know it takes baby steps to get back there. But if you have a passion for it, you're going to do what you need to do within the time frame, nothing before the time, and just keep pushing on.
All right. Good advice. And I want to say thank you to everyone, and keep enjoying doing what you're doing, because you're keeping the game alive. You're keeping the game going. No matter what age you are, your help is actually helping Bermuda football to grow in a very, very big way as officials. Okay?
That's it.
All right. Enjoy
Thank you.
Enjoy the rest of your night.
Thank you.
You as well.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
Have a good night.
Thank you.
Bye.